Good morning. It's August 25th, Friday, August 25th, and about 8:30, and it's a little chill in the air, little taste of autumn. So we're progressing on the sofa table, aren't we? Shall I show you? If you want to see. Look. I've sort of laid it out as it will be. Now look, I think that is quite similar to that. I designed it. I made it. So jobs for today. I'm going to do second coat of Danish oil off for the top. I'm going to tidy up the legs as much as I can and then oil those, and then get the slats cut to length, and I'm going to chamfer the ends so they sort of go up and down at the ends, which I think will just make them look a little bit more elegant. Maybe I could route around them. Anyway, that's the plan. So with no further ado, let's crack on. So here I am again, putting some gloves on, because when you're doing it like this, well, no, I'm just whacking a load on the second coat on the top of the table. But I think I put gloves on because I knew that I was about to do all the fiddly legs and stuff, and that involves a lot of picking stuff up and getting it all over yourself. You can see the second coat going on. It does make a difference. A little bit more shine there on that top. Just checking for missed bits and imperfections. Little tidy up, and away we go. Oh, taking off some more glue, found some more glue from the glue up. So yeah, one of these days I'm going to get myself organised. So yeah, just doing the work to try and improve the look of it, make it as nice as I can, because that was one of my big goals for this piece, to try and make something that looked not like a big bodge up, which sometimes my stuff does look, but I think this turned out all right. So just painstakingly removing. What I could do with is a detail sander. Do I know any detail sanders? I think I know a detail sander called Courtney. That's an in-joke. If you understand it, leave me a comment. But yeah, still sanding that, just sanding. And as I've said in a previous video, it's a pain and it's slightly irritating, but it is worth it, and you do see the benefit. And I'm still removing glue from glue ups. I'm going to start using tape to prevent that. So you just lift the tape off and leave clean wood beneath it, hopefully. Because even in time-lapse mode, cleaning glue off joints is a bit tedious. I don't blame you if you skip this bit, honestly. That's a good camera angle, isn't it? Great shot of the Casio though. Love my Casio. Might buy a new one soon. Thrilling. Sanding, cleaning, sanding. At least I suppose this shows you the sort of amount of work that goes into a piece of furniture like this. You know, so when you go to buy a bespoke piece of furniture and it costs you an arm and a leg, you perhaps understand why. I'm just filling holes with glue there, because I just noticed that my joints are a bit rubbish, so I just filled it with glue. Hopefully that'll hold it together. And now we are finally putting Danish oil on all these surfaces. And when you've got little bits of wood like this, there are a lot of surfaces. And you sort of move around trying to be methodical and do it in an organised and sensible, logical way. And then you think you're finished, and then you see, oh, I haven't done that one at all. You have to go back round and do it. But yeah, it doesn't take long, but it's fiddly. And this is where you do have to apply it sparingly because it's on these vertical surfaces. If you lash the Danish oil on, it's going to start running, and then you get runs, and the runs, apart from looking bad, they'll be gooey because they're thick. So you do need to apply this very sparingly, and it's better to rub it in for a bit rather than dollop it on. That said, I had to come back the next day. I came back the next day to have a little, to see how it had cured, and there were bits in and around all those joints that were tacky, where I'd obviously not buffed it off enough. So my advice to you, if you want to take my advice, is that put it on very, 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 very thin. Right. So there we are then. Those are the legs oiled. That's as good as I'm going to get them, I think. I think they're all right, aren't they? They're okay. And they kind of match the top. Top's a little bit darker. Maybe when I put the second coat, that's had 2 coats of oil. That's just one. So now all that remains to do is to cut these exactly to length. And then I'm going to cut a bevel off there. Don't quite know how I'm going to do that yet, so I'm going to have a little think. I'm thinking along the lines of a jig, so that they're all identical, cut square and all that, but don't know, so I've got to have a little think. Alright, so I'll figure that out and then you'll see me do it. Quite pleased with myself. Remember, if it works, it's not bad, it's not ugly if it works. Here's my contraption. Okay, so sacrificial wood, which I'm slicing into. Yep. Guide wood, so that runs along there. That's the piece. That's the butt end, so I butt it up against there, cut it off. As long as it's square, I haven't got a problem. It does cut square because I've tested it. And that, lift that out of there, look. That's the first piece. Square and the correct length. Right, better be the bloody correct length. I haven't tested this live. Oh, you see that just hangs over. That's perfect, that end. And it's pretty much perfect, yeah. Okay, so we're good, good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these pieces now. And put my lovely screw box away. You can tell I'm a DeWalt boy. That's just because they stock it in Screwfix, which is where I buy everything. So I can do all the long ones now, and then I have to just move that up to do the short ones, and then they'll all be uniform at least. Pleased with that, even if I do say so myself. That little monster there saved me a lot of measuring, a lot of heartache, a lot of rubbish, and yeah, worked. These are all the correct length and 9 degrees and blah blah blah. Anyway, what I've got to do now is I've got to cut 45 degrees off there. How am I going to do that consistently and accurately? I know what you're saying already. It's a jig, Woodsy. Could probably adapt this one, couldn't I? I wonder what happens if I just turn that blade 45 degrees. I've already got the holes and I've already got the measures. I'm gonna have to rejig it slightly. Rejig. Okay, I'm gonna think about it and then I'll come back to you. Hey folks, so I couldn't figure out a way of cutting 45-degree angles on this jig. This cut here, where I could slot my circular saw in, just didn't work. The circular saw is too unstable. It tips over this way, so I was like, trying to do that. It would be better if it tipped that way. Maybe I bought a left-handed one or something. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, isn't it? So my friend, like 3 doors down, he's got a chop saw. So I bunged him through the chop saw and it came out like this. Lots of tear out. I think he needs a new blade, but every cut neat and tidy, pretty much. Yeah, so I went through those, easy peasy, except that, you know, there's a good one, because that's going to sit like that, like a nice little plonk on the table, and then I did that one, and then I did that. It wasn't even rushing, this wasn't even the first one. It did have a lot of tear out there, look, I just noticed, a load of tear out. So that's rubbish. I've got to do another one, I've got to make another one. And then I started sanding them, and that was taking ages. So now I'm doing this. Okay, can you see that all right? Yes, the old belt sander in the vice trick. And because there is quite a bit of sort of tear out on these edges here, what I've decided to do is, actually, it looks really nice, is give it a little bit of a round there. Actually, that looks quite nice. I think that's going to look even better than what I thought. So we adapt, we survive, we go to time lapse, we create these, and then I've got to make another one. All right. Yeah, so as I just said, just going to round these off as a nice way of finishing them. I did envisage them as having the sharp angles, but then sharpness is not pleasant, is it? It's not nice. Doing them on the bandsaw like that, not the bandsaw, on the belt sander like that is, let's say, artisanal, shall we? Because you have to eyeball it and get it right. So now I found a piece of oak that's about the same colour as the other slats, and I'm making that extra slat because I ruined one of them, and I'm doing it on the Einhorn planer thicknesser, which I still haven't got round to adjusting because I need to raise the blades like by about 1 millimetre to stop that stuff called snipe, which is where, as you feed the thing along, as it leaves one of the beds, it drops down and you get a thin bit on the end where the blades dig in too much. It also happens when you're using it as the thicknesser, which is when you're feeding them underneath, which is what I'm doing now. But a few passes and I'm just comparing it to one of the existing pieces to get the right dimensions. And hoovering up. I do love hoovering up now. I've got that shop vac. It didn't take that long with the right tools. So top tip, if you can get the right tools, do get the right tools. I don't want to go totally power tool. As you can see, sometimes it's just quicker to just get a saw out and use a plane. Look at that. See all the black marks? That's from the planer thicknesser. So just smartening it up with my super sharp Stanley number 4. Is it the number 4? Or was that the big one? I think it's number 4. Making sure the ends are square. And, because I didn't want to go back to my friend with the chop saw, I'm just doing these by brute forcing getting the dust off. Sorry, just sanding off the bevel, which I thought I could get away with on one piece. Having a little tidy up, don't you love a tidy up? I'm having a tidy up because I'm about to put some Danish oil on them. So I line them all up, put the little pieces of wood down to lift it off the bench. Gloves on, because I'm going to be slopping oil all over the place. And trying to be methodical, working my way along. Da, 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 da. And you can see they darken down quite nicely. I think one of them has got a stain which I wasn't particularly happy with, and I think it came out of that epoxy resin. Not 100% sure on that though. But it did have some sort of stain on it, and I thought, but you know, imperfections in the wood. It's all part of the charm. That one there, I just put it down. It's just by my hand there. Can you see it's at the back near my tummy? Oh, there's the wife there. You can see there's some stainage, and I think that might be epoxy, but I'm not sure. But I got away with it, so it's all right. All right, we're done. And there all are. We've got a coat of oil on. Da, 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 da. Legs are done. Top's done. And I've bought my tabletop fasteners, which is how I'm going to attach the top. No clever joinery there, just a few screws. So putting it together. And then maybe deliver it. I might put that hard coat, that nano hard coat on, or I could deliver it, put it together and deliver it tomorrow. I've got to figure out how I'm going to attach these. Just glue? Maybe just glue. Not sure. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode. See you next time.